In this session is Dr. Harry Kamilaris, Senior Business Development Consultant for Agricarbon, soil carbon measurements now and in the future. Harry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Peter, and thanks everybody for being here in this session. So I will talk to you a bit about the role of soil carbon in the dairy industry and the importance of accurately measuring it. So let's start with something that it's very everybody here knows it well, and it's what is the challenge, right? So the dairy industry has been it's recognized now, and it's an important source of greenhouse gas emissions, right? So it's constantly under the spotlight to formulate environmental targets, to take climate action, and to eventually reach net zero. So constantly under the spotlight. And even though dairy products have a very important role to play in human nutrition, their current farming practices have been causing a concern, right? So you have a lot of voices demanding, right, and looking at the dairy industry to even scale down to meet these environmental targets. So you've seen the situation with the farmer protest in Europe. It's a very grim picture, and it will only intensify when we're looking at discussions getting more and more polarized. Now, what is the opportunity here, right? So even though this is a very grim picture, there is an opportunity, and it lies directly under our feet. So this is about soil carbon, right? That it's stored under grassland, and is a critical piece. It can be a critical piece of natural climate solutions. Now, when we think about that, it's about a win-win scenario, right? So we're looking at an opportunity to improve soil health, as many of the previous speakers pointed out. It is about soil health, and the second bit, it is about a win-win scenario with carbon removals, right? So in order to do that, there's two routes, right? So one is the potential for practices, for example, different grazing management, or multi-species. So there's different practices that can actually increase the soil carbon stored in the land. And the second bit, which is equally important, is about managing sustainably grasslands, so that you can actually, the carbon that has been sequestered can stay there. So there's two different ways to look at it. But at the root of both of these ways is understanding what is the soil carbon. So getting a baseline, and previous speakers talked about getting a baseline, understanding the numbers. So this is the solution. This is part of the solution. So understanding and improving the carbon stored in soils. And in order to do that, you need robust and auditable data, right? So this data would allow measuring and monitoring progress. Now, if you look at what you actually need here, right? So you need accurate and high integrity data that is at the same time cost effective. So that's a very important bit. And you need to look at scalable and future-proof solutions. So this is quite a challenge, right? And I'm here to answer actually the three main reasons why this is so measuring soil carbon. Why is this notoriously so difficult? So the first thing is the high natural soil variation. So especially in the UK, you can look at a field and you can have various soil types. And when it comes to soil carbon, you could be looking from 40 to 200 tons of carbon per hectare, right? So there's really high natural soil variation. That's the first thing. Second thing is, what we're trying to detect is a very small percentage of change, right? So going back to that field, let's say you look at an average of 100 tons of carbon per hectare, then if you look at practices to sequester carbon, you can have different numbers, but a bulk average could be you can sequester 1 ton of carbon per hectare per year, then after 5 years, what you would be looking is you would be looking at a change that it's as small as 5%. So high natural soil variation and small percentage of change. And on top of that, all carbon accounting frameworks are looking for a statistically significant change. So what this actually means is that you need to be able to prove that this change is actually has actually happened. So it is statistically significant. So that's the three main reasons why it's very difficult. And this is where Agricarbon kind of like steps in, and we're trying to unlock direct measurement at scale. So we offer this end-to-end solution starting from the sampling strategy, right? And this is very important because it answers two questions. First is where to sample, and the second is how many samples do we actually need, right? So if you look at these two questions, how we go about it is we look at soil maps, so freely available soil maps, along with our own database, which is one of the largest soil carbon data sets in the world. And we look at targets of every project individually, right? So we bring everything together in order to have the absolutely necessary number of samples, right? And this is to overcome the high natural soil variation and be able to detect a very small percentage of change and be able to be confident that this is a statistically significant change. Now, after we formulate the soil sampling strategy, the real fun begins, right? So we go out there, we have a field operator, we have our ATV, so we go there, we collect the actual samples. This is we take fully intact soil cores, and we send everything back for analysis to our lab in Scotland, in Dundee. Now, this is where the real innovation lies. So this is what allows us to not only be able to offer very high quality and consistent lab results, but at the same time be able to do it at a fraction of the cost, right? So we brought in a lot of robotics and a lot of automation to build in a lab for purpose, right? So we're measuring two things only. We're focused on understanding the soil carbon stocks. So we're measuring two things. We're measuring the soil organic carbon percentage, and we're using the latest scientific methodologies, which is elemental analysis with dry combustion. So this is a direct method of measurement. And then the second thing is we're measuring bulk density. This is the volume of the soil. And we're measuring bulk density for each sample, right? So we're not using any averages, not even field average, because these two single most important numbers when you calculate the soil carbon stocks. So you can be confident on the result. And at the end of it is a soil carbon report, which is so very easy to follow. So you can see your results, and you compare within fields or farms. Now, what I want to ask is I want to ask two questions. So first is, what is it important for you, right? So when you look at a project, when you look at the sustainability effort, what is it important for you? First is improved soil health, and this is so carbon, soil carbon acting as a proxy of soil organic matter is a really good indicator of improved soil health. So this is one very important thing. Second is regulatory compliance. So using a robust data set like ours, you can comply with national, international, and local environmental schemes. Third is knowledge and data, right? And this always comes back to the power that data gives you in order to be able to understand and go for informed decision making. And the last thing is market differentiation, right? So we live at a time where it's very important when you go for your sustainability efforts to there's the accuracy of measurement. So you have a very aware consumer looking at greenwashing, trying understanding more and more. So being able to have a measurement that is as robust as this actually is very important in terms of market differentiation. And then the last question is why should I do this now? Right? So, and we get this a lot. Why should I do this now? But this is a time where policy is moving already in this direction, the direction of reporting. This is a time where most of the farmers gather all types of farm level data. So why not add soil carbon as well? And this is once every 5 or every 10 years. And the third thing is this is a time where every year of delay, the window to meet targets closes. So 2030, 2050 are right down the corner. And the second and most important thing for that is the waste on reporting good progress made. So I meet with farmers every day, and most of them they already do a lot of a lot of good work, and what I get is that we don't know the the soil carbon. I don't want to touch it. I don't know what this is. So if you're already doing this, if you get a baseline, then you won't miss the opportunity of reporting on good progress made, and this is where the actual benefit lies. So I'll leave you with that, and we have our team here on Agricarbon, booth B64. So questions just pop by. Thank you very much.